Welcome to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast, where we move from wonder to worship, looking for God at work in the world around us, ready to ask the tough questions and discover what His Word has to say to us. Today's episode is titled, Seeing the World Upside Down, and it comes from me, Casey Taylor. Earlier this week, I told you about my first friend in Texas, Kelly. I also told you about the daycare that he and I went to where I first met him. Well, as I was remembering those times that we shared back when we were little, I had a funny memory of something that a lot of us kids used to do when we were little to avoid getting in trouble. Every once in a while, if you were a kid who liked a little physical contact or wrestling, or just liked to compete with your friends, and then every so often things would push a little too far and someone would accidentally get hurt, I remember my first instinct was always one thing. Can you guess what that is? If I accidentally hurt Kelly and didn't want to get in trouble if he told or ran to explain his pain to the teacher, what do you think that I did?
Don't tell.
I would try with everything in me to convince him not to run to the teacher and instead to hit me back or return the pain I accidentally caused him so that I didn't risk getting in ultimate trouble and potential destruction from the teacher. I'm not sure the teacher would have done much other than talk to my mom if I'd meant to hurt him, but since it was really only ever an accident, I'm sure she would have just asked me to settle down. But I was convinced it was over for me if Kelly ever made it over to the teacher. She would see me and pull me close and, well, I don't know. I just knew it would be bad. So one day, I remember playing some sort of rough game of tag when I accidentally tagged Kelly too hard, and he fell over and skinned his elbow. He started to tear up and then immediately sprinted for the teacher. So I did what any kid my age would do, I think. I sprinted to the teacher as well and proclaimed loudly as I was in a full sprint, "Whatever he's about to tell you didn't happen, don't believe him!" Which put a puzzling look on my teacher's face, especially when Kelly looked back at me with a cheeky grin and calmly asked, "Can I go to the bathroom?" Then I was busted because my teacher needed to know what I was expecting him to say when I ran over in my own defense. He really got me that time, and even remembering it makes me laugh, but the reason I wanted to tell you that story was because my first instinct was to let Kelly even the score once I'd accidentally hurt him. It's what we do as humans, sometimes without thinking about it. Someone hurts us, we want to hurt them back. Someone says something mean to us, we want to trade insults back to them. Someone takes something from us, we want to take something from them. But when Jesus came, he challenged his disciples to flip the script, and he turned earthly logic upside down and gave us new kingdom logic. We see some of this on display in the book of Romans.
Never pay back evil with more evil. Do things in such a way that everyone can see you are honorable. Do all that you can to live in peace with everyone. Romans 12:17-18.
Jesus coming to earth completely changed how the people of God dealt with challenging circumstances. Where in the Old Testament they dealt with things more justly, like an earthly court might, where someone takes your eye and you take theirs to even things out, that's where we get the saying, eye for an eye. Justice balances the wrongs that happen to us with the wrongs that are returned to the person who hurt us. We see in James 2 that there's a new thought process that the church has taken on. To follow Jesus' lead, mercy triumphs over justice. We don't repay evil for evil. We bless those who harm us and care for those who are careless with us. Why would this be, do you think? Jesus came to earth to live a perfect life, to die in our place and to raise up from the grave. But for what? The Bible says to make peace between God and man because of the blood that was shed as a sacrifice for us. He came to bring peace where there was once war, nearness where there was once separation, and mission where there was once bitterness. He wants us, as we see in our passage, to allow for our upside-down love of even those who have hated us and been cruel to us, to show how Christ's love for us seemed upside down when we were doing sinful things that dishonored him, but that he still made a way, through his mercy, his kindness, and love for us, to forgive us and to draw us closer to him, to be adopted by the Father as sons and daughters. He doesn't want us to find satisfaction in returning hate, evil, or pain to even things out, like I tried to do as a kid. He wants us to take our lumps, and rather than delivering lumps in return, to deliver a hand to hold, rather than a fist to the face. He wants us to bless when we are cursed, and to show the world an upside-down love that will seem crazy to the world, but just crazy enough to maybe catch their attention, like his love caught our attention, and possibly open up the door for them to see and come to know the love of Jesus for themselves through the example that we show. They will learn more about the character of Jesus, and you will grow in peace, both inside and with others around you, when you allow God to use you to build your enemies up, and rather than using your hands, your words, or your effort to pull them down like they did to you, let's be people who honor God with his upside-down mission. There is no more peaceful place to be than at a place where you owe no one the justice their acts towards you might deserve. And the only way we're able to be there is when we're living in the Spirit and allowing the fruits, like peace, to shine through you. So let's be people of peace and watch what God has in store for our enemies. Because if it's anything like what he had for us when we were enemies of God, it will be powerful, life-changing, and it will be grounded in the Spirit-filled love and mercy that will offer our enemies way more than they deserve, just like he did with us. Now it's time for
Today's Big Question!
Today's big question is, have you ever been forgiven and loved through a major mistake? Or through something you did on purpose that you look back now and wish you hadn't done? How are you loved and cared for? Sometimes our mistakes are learning opportunities. What can you learn from how Jesus loved his disciples when they made mistakes? How might you care for people, even people who purposefully hurt you, when they hurt you and make choices that affect you in hurtful ways? Remember, God drew us into his family even as we were making bad choices that hurt his reputation. So let's love people who may hurt us because we were once those people, and Christ's love changed us. Maybe it'll change them too. Thanks for listening to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast. If you want to keep in touch with us on all our social media platforms, check out the links in the description. And if you'd like to help support us as we continue to create meaningful content for kids of all generations, please subscribe to our Patreon by visiting us at patreon.com/wearegenerationkids.